Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by closuresio, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Kareem Scales, the founder and CEO of Scales Consulting, a management consulting firm that helps businesses and organizations develop resilient strategies, unlock operational excellence, and navigate change with clarity. Kareem brings a unique combination of business insight and human-centered problem solving to his clients. Kareem, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you, Ammar. Excited to be here to speak with you on the Founders Future podcast and just overwhelmed and thank you for the opportunity.
Anytime, man. I'm excited to dive in. I know we started a little bit late, so I'd love to dive straight into Scales Consulting and what that looks like today. Help the listeners understand, who would you say is your ideal client? Who do you love to work with? And then from there, let's dive into the different offers and services that you provide.
Yeah, no, great question, Ammar. I think ideal client, it can really vary, right? Depending on, because we offer a range of different services, but I really value working with mission-based organizations as well as municipalities. I think there's something about bringing the perspective that I bring to the table, having had experience working both in the for-profit and nonprofit space, in leadership roles that is extremely beneficial to those types of organizations. But I really try not to box it in. I think that the leadership principles that my firm offers really are transferable across industries, across sectors, and can be a benefit to any and everyone.
Okay, so it's not specific to specific organizations. The things that you offer, you feel like are applicable to a variety of different folks.
100%. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we emphasize in our various trainings and coaching is the true valuable characteristics of a leader will transcend across industry. Now, there are certain technical skills, there's certain knowledge and different components that apply to different industries, but those core leadership principles really are transferable across any industry. And a big part of that is understanding communication and how to engage with people. And I think that's at the core of any successful
Mm,
organization or entity, regardless of what industry.
could not agree more. Walk me through, what do your core offerings look like? So when you're working with clients at Scales Consulting, what is that core offering or offerings?
Yeah, so it's three pillars that we operate in, and those three areas began this firm really from the leadership development space. So I was brought into this work with a firm that I worked with early on in the design thinking space, and design thinking is a framework that allows for organizations to be able to solve a problem through the mind of a designer, right? And that's really that human-centered approach that you mentioned before. So that's our primary pillar is under the leadership development work, which includes various types of facilitation, along with different trainings and workshops, as well as one-on-one coaching. We work with executives all the way down to folks at the management level and really helping them identify their gaps, their strengths, and how they can grow in their roles professionally. And so that's the one pillar is the leadership development. Because of my work and extensive work in community in previous roles and through the various boards that I serve on, we also help support organizations from a community engagement and outreach lens. So if there's a certain organization that has an initiative or a program, or just need to get a better understanding of how the community is utilizing their services or where their gaps are, they can bring in our firm and we'll work with them on developing a strategy. We do everything from grassroots outreach, door to door canvassing, community events, all the way to more structured types of community outreach as well. So that's the second pillar is the community engagement and outreach. And that sometimes also involves some political policy work and political advocacy with the various spaces that I'm in. The third bucket, final bucket of our work or pillar, I would say it falls under the fundraising and capacity building space. And so because I've worked in nonprofit for a number of years, served on a number of boards, have been able to develop a strong understanding of the fundraising space. So that includes donor engagement, capital campaign support, as well as grant writing and grant management administration work. And so those are the three pillars. When you first start off as an entrepreneur, you start off throwing darts at the board to see what sticks. And now that we've been at it now for almost 5 years, we've really fine-tuned where our specialty is, and that's where where our clients are able to get the most out of us are in those three pillars.
Got it. Thank you for breaking that down. Of these three, what would you say is the main revenue driver of the company?
It really comes in seasons. I would say our leadership development work is probably still at the core and the main revenue driver. But as of recent, have been provided a lot of support in the grant writing, grant administration space as well. Last year, there was a lot of work around community engagement and grassroots outreach. So it depends on the season, it depends on the client. I think right now, considering the current climate with our federal administration organizations, mostly in the nonprofit space, but even some for profits are trying to identify innovative ways to raise funds through grant writing, et cetera. And so we've received a good amount of work, I would say, in the last 6 months in that space as well. But
Okay,
it comes in ebbs and flows.
got it. When it comes to client acquisition, when you're looking to bring on more leads for Scales Consulting, what are you currently doing from a marketing and lead gen perspective?
That's a great question. And having a sales and marketing background for a number of years, I worked in the health insurance space as well as in the tech industry in the sales and marketing area. But primarily to date, Ammar, a lot of our clients have came through word of mouth, I'm sorry, and organic relationships. I'm a strong believer in the power of effective networking and cultivating relationships and have been really successful, blessed to be successful in that space. And a lot of our work comes from referrals and networking, being at various events, conferences, through whether it's through my work or through the various boards I serve on, I'm able to share with folks the services that I offer. And that's been our main client generator. But to your point around other methods, obviously in the world today, content creation and social media is at the core, and probably one of the most primary drivers. And so we are active on all social media platforms, whether it's from Facebook, Instagram to LinkedIn, creating various content to engage our audience, from videos to capturing photos from our various engagements. And one of the things I'm really excited about is coming up here pretty soon. We'll be launching our own podcast platform. It's called the Leadership Blueprint. And so the Leadership Blueprint will provide folks with an in-depth lens and experience to see what it means to be a leader, right? I think oftentimes people get caught into the titles, right? And sometimes folks don't see themselves as a leader. We're going to be meeting and hearing the stories of leaders from all different industries to help folks really understand what that means and who are the people, who's the person behind being a leader and what that journey looks like. And so we're excited to launch the Leadership Blueprint platform. That'll be coming here pretty soon in the next 30 days. So those are the current ways that we're marketing, but always looking for innovative ways to grow as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting you say the word of mouth piece because I was talking to a CEO coach earlier today and he said 100% of his business comes from word of mouth, but he was expressing a lot of frustrations that they're great leads, but it's unpredictable and inconsistent because it's hard to
Hmm.
pull a lever and get more of those types of leads, but those types of prospects. So I'm curious for you, you mentioned you're looking for innovative ways to kind of get more lead flow, more marketing. What do you have in mind for that? Are you thinking paid ads? Are you thinking cold outreach? What's the thought process there?
Yeah, I think I would probably gravitate more toward, to your point around paid ads. Definitely. I think, again, folks are consuming content a lot differently, right? I'm sure Amar, you, myself, and everyone spend a good amount of time on the various social media platforms, right? There's no shortage of them. And so I could see paid advertisements. We also, our website is a driver. I think there's some opportunity to grow in terms of our SEO strategy. And so that's something I'm currently working on with my team as well. Cold calling, I think, had its place, and I've done that in previous roles, but I feel like for the work that we do, we really prefer more of an organic relationship with our clients. I try not to even call our clients, we refer to them as partners, right? Because we want that ongoing kind of partnership and relationship to be at the core of our work. So definitely social media, more social media integration. I see the podcast being a great driver, and also just staying visible, attending various conferences, being out in community. And really, I think the word of mouth will continue to be a driver as well, because there's no better way to get your work out there than for someone who's experienced the benefit of working with you and being able to share that story.
Yeah. I like what you say about paid ads. I'm a big believer that it is one of the best ways to grow if you can do it effectively with the right messaging. Like for our business, we went from 0 to $30 million in 2 years, and
Mm,
the main driver of lead flow is paid ads. And you're
mm.
right, people are all over social media, but the key that we found, especially working with our clients, is having the right messaging, having the right packaging, and making sure the funnel is set up in a way to reduce and add friction in different steps where it's applicable to get the highest quality leads in through the pipeline. Now, with that being said, what does your sales process currently look like? So once a lead does come in through the door, what are the different steps that they go through for them to become a partner?
Yeah, typically, again, we're really big on, as you mentioned, looking at our clients through more of a partnership lens. And so typically it'll start off with just a kind of informal get to know you, get to know us setting, right? We like to start it off and really get to understand the people behind the mission. And I think that allows us to build a good foundation to continue to build upon. From there, we'll have more of a interview style session where we do ask a lot of questions in the consultancy space, especially in the leadership development space. A lot of our work is around asking the necessary questions to drive thought in folks to get them to think about whether it's the way that they're communicating, the way they're engaging with their team, or even identifying certain biases or being more aware culturally. So that second session usually is formed to really do a lot of interview style facilitation, right? We want to really ask you questions and not only pay attention to the answer, but a lot of it is paying attention to the unspoken, the body language, etc. From
Mm,
there, we'll formalize the relationship. And again, a piece that I haven't mentioned yet is all of our services are hyper customizable, right? We have preset frameworks, workshops that have been successful, but we really like to customize each approach based on what your individual needs are. And so from that interview session will allow us to get a better glimpse on where you are as an organization, where you are as an individual, if it's a coaching opportunity, and then we'll cultivate an outline of what a program could look like, formalize the agreement, and then we move forward from there. So it's
yeah,
I would say a multi-layered step process, but it starts
yeah,
with organic relationships.
yeah. Thank you for breaking that down. What is your vision look? So when you think over the next 12 months of where you want to take Scales Consulting, from a revenue perspective, from a performance targets perspective, what are you really aiming towards?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ammar, and that's something that we've been really intentional about as of late. We have a small team. I'm the senior consultant, and day to day, I'm the only staff member, but I have 8 to 10 folks, depending on the level of engagement that we subcontract and bring on to help support the work. But one, in terms of vision, one of my top priorities for the next 6 to 12 months is to expand our work in AI integration. Just recently, I'm a continuous learner, Ammar, and always looking for ways to provide more value to our clients and to community. And so one of the things I'm really excited about is just recently I received a certification in AI prompt engineering. And so when you look at the leadership development portfolio of work and you look at where the needs are, we know that technology plays an forever growing role in our lives, right? And so if we're passionate about equipping leaders with the tools to lead more effectively, to be more proficient in their roles, I think it is inevitable that folks become engaged and become trained in the power of artificial intelligence. And so under that leadership development portfolio, we created a program. It's called the Scale AI program. And that program is for leadership teams. There's individual coaching, and we're really excited about scaling that work, no pun intended. But our first workshop actually here is in a couple of weeks. And I just got the certification in May and have already received a good amount of inquiries about partnerships, hosting various workshops and trainings. I think everybody's at a different stage of their growth or their journey as it relates to engaging with LLMs and artificial intelligence. But I think organizations are seeing that in order to stay ahead of the curve and transition in this, as I mentioned, ever-changing world, it's going to be imperative that their teams, that their leaders are equipped with the tools of, I wouldn't even say the future, but the tools of now. And so that's one
Mm,
of the things we're most excited about is this Scale AI program. I mentioned to you the launch of the leaders blueprint, I'm sorry. And that's going to be focused on honest leadership and sharing stories across industries. I think oftentimes, as I mentioned before, folks get too caught into the title and not really understand the person behind the work. And that's one of the things we're looking to really dive in the journey that it takes to get there. I think any leader would share with you that before they became a leader in their organization or wherever space that they're in, you have to start off with being a good follower, right? And I've been blessed to have mentors and folks to allow me to serve and guide me to become the leader that I am today. And so that's some of the vision there. Obviously, as I mentioned, continuously learning. So more certifications, more digital products, and making things more accessible for our clients, and just continue to grow in those ways that are some of our primary focuses.
awesome. What is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
Yeah, you can reach out to us via our website. That's at scalesconsultingllc.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn under Scales Consulting LLC. You can Google Kareem Scales or Scales Consulting. My phone number is out there. I'm open to phone calls. Any way that is feasible for you to get in touch. But our primary method, I would say, is probably via the website and through our email. And my email address I'll share with you now is just CEO at scalesconsultingllc.com. And so always looking to grow and excited to continue to help support organizations and individuals through their journey.
Awesome. Kareem, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you again, Ammar, and again, appreciative for the opportunity. And just want to close with, we envision Scales Consulting LLC as a globally recognized consultancy firm that is operating at the intersection of leadership development and now incorporating this strategic AI approach. And would love to meet with folks and see if there's a way that we can help support. So thank you again, Ammar. Thank you to the Founders Future team, and I look forward to staying engaged with you all.
Awesome. So that wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go to scalesconsultingllc.com. You can also email Kareem, CEO at scalesconsultingllc.com. That's a great last name, by the way. Scales.
Hey, I just fell into it, man.
Yeah. And if you are a business owner and you're really looking to scale your company, no pun intended, and you are looking to enhance your sales and marketing efforts and really take things to the next level, visit closuresio to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.